So, very good evening to everyone once again. This is the 3rd of Feb and देखते देखते एक महीना बीत गया 2024 का. Saturday evening as always 5 p.m. our usual weekend session. The first few minutes we will be talking about the Nifty, Bank Nifty and the various sectoral indices. Starting with the Nifty, as you can see I have the weekly, daily and the 125-minute time frame, 3 time frames over here. It was a good week. It did not close as good as we would have liked to, but nevertheless, it was a bounce back week. The index bounced back. It touched its previous all-time highs and it couldn't take it out. It couldn't sustain even near about, and so it slipped. That's okay. We had some bit of a correction recently. It was a two-legged correction, kind of an ABC, and now we have a decent recovery. Trend on the weekly time frame, positive. Momentum is slowing down, and because momentum is slowing down, we can see that over the last 3 weeks it has kind of gone choppy. See this? This is essentially a range that the index has kind of, as of now, created for itself. The moment charts go like this, trends and moving averages tend to fail, in the sense that there's no longer a very well-defined uptrend or a downtrend. It's more of being overbought and oversold, right? Nevertheless, the daily chart also showing good trend, good momentum. So if we talk about the bias view of the market, it should be bullish. It should not be bearish because the trend is not down, because the momentum is also not down. The bias should not be bearish because there are no contrarian signs of divergences also. So there is no particular reason for any trader to anticipate that this is the top of the market. It can be the top of the market, we will see that later. But at this juncture, there is no such readings on the weekly or on the daily chart, predominantly bullish. If we take a look at the CNX 500, we see a relatively better close, much relatively better close on the weekly time frame. It did take out its previous life high, much higher, and then it did slip, but still the close was at a new all-time high. So broader markets seems to be performing much better. You have a trend in your favor, the momentum on the daily chart in your favor, weekly charts are fine. Let me tell you one small thing over here is that whenever we get to see good looking structural breakouts like this, there is always a back of the mind, the thought, will this be a breakout failure or not? And especially when these breakouts happen at life highs or at 52-week lows, especially when they come with very high volumes, the tendency to be a breakout failure tends to be more. So, question mark, can this be a breakout failure? As of now, we do not have enough evidence based on which we can call this a breakout failure. I've purposely changed my daily chart from the Heikin-Ashi to the bar chart because that will give me clarity about last day's high and low, especially low. So we can clearly see that with the overall markets, the CNX 500 also slipped quite a bit from its intraday highs. And yesterday's low, or to be precise, Friday's low was this one. So to answer the question, can this be a breakout failure? There is a possibility. When we will get a proper confirmation, oh yes, this is a breakout failure, that is number one, Monday, if it slips and closes below Friday's low. And definitely if Thursday's low, 19,700 for CNX 500, if this is breached, then this was clearly a breakout failure. And in that case, if you get something like, let's say something like this, in that case, when this happens, the sentiment which was bullish over here tends to be a little sour. The momentum may probably stay bullish, but there can be a possibility of a top if we have a breakout failure. Not confirmed, that we will see, and we'll get some clarity by Monday, at max by Tuesday. This is CNX mid cap, very good looking chart in terms of the trend and the momentum. in terms of trend on the higher time frame. We have been observing some structural, what we call as divergences, but these divergences have really not led to corrective moves. They have recently led to very sharp dips and equally sharp bounce backs. So, not easy markets. These sharp, panic is the wrong word to use here, but these kind of lows, you can look at it and you can kind of keep a mark of them, and kind of draw a line and extend them, and keep in your mind that which is the level which connects these important sharp sell-offs. I am more of a guy who likes to draw these lines or channels in terms of RSI. And so, given the chance, if you let me draw any channel right now, I don't see there is any meaningful channel coming out on this particular chart from RSI, not on the daily chart. So I'll let it pass. Coming to small caps. Now, way better than what we saw in CNX 500, mid cap and Nifty. The broader markets have clearly maintained its leadership in this particular bull market, in this particular rally of the market. Strong rally, takes out its previous high, all-time high, stays above its all-time high, no sign of breakout failure. So will the sign of strength from the small cap reflect in the mid cap and CNX 500 next week? The breakout failure possibility that we just discussed with CNX 500, will it get completely negated because the small cap seems to have led from the front? Well, there's evidence that the small cap has not failed. So the mid cap is holding, the CNX 500 is also holding. So who knows, we might get a proper breakout from CNX 500 and mid cap as well. Coming to the small cap index per se, individually, strong trend, strong momentum, strong trend, slightly slowing down momentum. Liquidity driven broader market rally continues. No reason to go short. No particular reason to have a opposite bearish view. Continue to stay on the bullish side and wait for better levels. Now let's come to the sectoral indices one by one. Bank Nifty, not a great one. Bank Nifty is significantly away from its all-time high. We've managed a decent bounce back. In fact, personally, we've been looking at the private sector banks like iBank and Kotak Bank, etc. We like the fact that the momentum is fresh. It has improved on the upside. We like the fact that the short-term trend is positive. Heiken-Ashes have started to improve the way they look. Of course, the obvious resistances is up here, close to that 250 zone. Weekly charts can clearly reflect, what can we call this, a green HGB. After 2 bars of sell-off, range has expanded quite a bit. So I think that last week's low is extremely important for any kind of downside. But this kind of a formation has more chance of the index going towards 47,250 than probably 45 on the downside. So I would be relatively short-term bullish on the Bank Nifty as long as last week's low is not broken. Coming to the auto, this is the CNX auto, and yeah, we have a proper channel breakout here. The weekly chart takes out, strong rally, strong trend, and the momentum, yeah, it's slowing down, but I don't think it's going to matter. Bullish, right? The stock, like the overall markets, the sector, like the overall markets, have not really come off. Last time it came off somewhere here, and recently it did go into some kind of a range with shallow, quick, one-day drop, and then sharply bounces back. Maruti definitely played a role in this move. Auto definitely bullish. There's no particular reason to go bearish on the auto pack. Consumer durables. Now, weekly, very strong trend, decent momentum reading, 2 weeks of consolidation. The trend continuation is very obvious. Weekly is bullish. So let's take a look at the daily chart. And what we see in the daily is kind of a rising consolidation after a falling market. And anyone would raise the question, will this continue on the downside or will this continue on pick up on the upside? We need to zoom in a little closer to the price formations, and we see that momentum has improved, range is contracting, not much of a clarity for the last 5 trading sessions. The Heiken Ashes are giving a sense that it's a choppy behavior. If you ask me, clearly these are the levels that the index needs to take out and sustain on the upside. And if I take a look at the last 5 days behavior, this is the lows beyond which this will become a rising consolidation and breakdown. So I would say this and this is the breakout that the CNX consumer durables should be kept a closer look at. See, the weekly chart is not stretched or weak or any kind of signs which is telling us it will fall. So for all due purpose, we can expect consumer durables to continue. So cautiously bullish consumer durables as well. Energy, big move coming in from energy. I had this channel drawn for a very long time, and it did slip outside, then kind of came in, and again on Friday's trade, big move, big trend move, big momentum. Weekly chart is just picking up. I would like to share this, that in an extremely overstretched, overbought conditions after a steady rally trend, when you see exuberance, when you see all of a sudden a big 4, 5, 6% move, generally they tend to act as short-term tops somewhere. This is some kind of a pattern. It has its reliability, and at times, of course, it fails. Do we have any evidences on these charts, on the CNX Energy weekly, daily, which can say that, oh, we have a top in place, so be careful? The answer is no. It's just out of the sheer exuberance, the move that the sector has delivered last week, which can say that it might be a little tired and might slow down. If it slows down, we will get signs from the momentum indicator first next week. So not the best of the sectors to go long at this stage, maybe at lower levels, but also do not go short. This is something that you would like to avoid for the time being. This guy can be interesting, and we are looking at the CNX FMCG, which has now gone through 4 weeks of a corrective move. Structurally, it's in a decent uptrend. I'm looking at the weekly charts. Our short-term indicators, momentum indicators, have started to knock the oversold zone. Classic technical analysis, wherein previous highs should act as current lows, kind of there. Daily charts momentum has just started to improve. Daily Heiken followed by a red HAGB. Trend indicators not in our favor, but all the pointers that I shared with you right now kind of manages well to tell us, yeah, this guy can give a bounce back. ITC can be an interesting one to keep a close look at. But yeah, FMCG is close to, or FMCG is at a zone from where it has a higher possibility of a short-term bounce back. The confirmation, I would strongly say, above Friday's high, if not Thursday's high. I like this formation. You know, this is a formation we really like to trade. So the confirmation of the formation is very, very important, which means Thursday's high. This Thursday's high. This is Friday's high. If that move comes, so keep an eye on, especially ITC, whether it can deliver a short-term bounce back for the FMCG pack or not. So I would say cautiously bullish. Why not bearish? It's got a good support over here. Structure of the weekly charts is really nice, and we had a 4-week corrective move. So all you know, a bounce back candidate. So cautiously bullish CNX FMCG. IT, buying time. You can see over here, the IT previous highs were here. It did not come all the way down to those highs. It's kind of consolidating. It's completely range bound. Weekly charts are fairly okay. Infosys playing a big role over here, supporting the sector. A laggard. This CNX IT chart on the weekly, you can see, is way away from its all-time highs, which it was there in back Jan 22. So it's got a lot of catch up to do. It's doing that catch up, and I think that we should stay bullish. Daily chart, momentum had been down, trend had been pretty strong. It has picked up now in Friday's trade, and I think that IT will stay positive. So stay bullish on the IT pack. CNX metal. Yeah, so metals, I remember, in fact, last Saturday I could not take the class because of my health issues. But if you remember, we had discussed this area and we had spoken about Tata Steel. The bounce back is impeccable. The bounce back is pretty strong. Metal on the weekly time frame, trend positive, momentum negative. So the sync of the trend and the underlying momentum is kind of slipping a little bit. So it's going to stay choppy but bullish. There's no particular reason to be bearish. So stay bullish CNX metal, but expect choppiness. Don't expect a clean run. Talking about clean runs, pharma is in a clean run. Trend, momentum, clean. Daily chart, trend, momentum, clean. Weekly chart. Can't expect any cleaner than this. In the recent past, previous highs did act really well to support, become previous lows. So very nice. I think last class we discussed DV's lab. Before that we were talking about Dr. Reddy. So here and there stocks are definitely shaping up well and giving us opportunities. No evidence on the charts to go bearish. So there's no need to go bearish. See, the point that I'm trying to explain over here is, yes, the market is stretched. Yes, it's a strong bull market. Yes, it's a little scary, difficult, tough to get into long trades at this juncture. That does not mean let's look for shorts. That is for those who can short the market or your trading style is such that you participate in the derivatives market. मतलब लॉन्ग नहीं मिल रहा है या लॉन्ग करने का ज़्यादा स्कोप नहीं है, चलिए शॉर्ट करते हैं. That is not the right approach. I think this is the time where you can be a little, off the sidelines, stay on the sidelines and be more of an observant. Real estate. Last did fall pretty sharp. This fall of real estate was a two-legged fall, and this particular fall of real estate was, I think, the sharpest amongst all the sectors. The bounce back, so far so good. It's not at its all-time high or beyond it, which we have seen in small cap, 500, mid cap, pharma and others, but not bad. Momentum improving, trend improving, the weekly time frame momentum is fine. So going forward, if you zoom in close to the weekly chart and look at this red HAGB, which means last week's low, which means this low, is the critical point. Is a critical point, break beyond which does definitely reverses the short-term trend of this particular sector. View cautiously bullish. I think it's going to probably create a range for itself and stay choppy, where the trend will not have much clarity. Overbought, oversold situations can give us opportunities. So cautiously bullish. The overall market, Nifty, CNX 500, broader markets are all pretty strong. None of them have signs of topping out on their weekly charts or daily charts. So strategically, number one, let's not look for shorting opportunities. If we get any shorting opportunity, some kind of a hook contra short setup and all, we will evaluate whether we should go for it or not. Longs are better off. Market supporting that side of the move, but we need to be a little careful and cautious. There was a slight angle of the CNX 500 which may act as a breakout failure. We'll get clarity by Monday, Tuesday. We need to be on our toes and act quick. We saw that on Friday, how quickly market gave up all from the day's high. So the feeling that someone will have at 10:30, 11 a.m. may not be the kind of feeling one will have at 2 p.m. or let's say towards the close at 3:30. So the markets might turn on a dime, and I think strategically we also need to be agile enough to turn on a dime. Right? So that's my view on the Nifty and the various sectors and the strategy for next week. Now let's take up all your questions one by one and create the list of stocks that we can add next week.